Hello there. I'm just going to talk a bit on the MGTOW community. I myself am a man going his own way, but the whole community is so splintered. People can view MGTOW very differently, and people take MGTOW very differently as well. And I'm just taking my own way with everything that's happened to me since I was young. You know, I've had girlfriends before, and each time I felt like they didn't understand the passion that I was trying to give them. They didn't understand how much I loved them. And each time, luckily, it was always long distance relationships. I mean, they were extremely beautiful women. But they just couldn't understand how much I loved them. And I also, myself, was very isolated from them as well. I lived in the country for a long time, or I still do. And their fathers, there's always seemed to be this strange obsession with the fathers and their daughters, that they never wanted their daughter to go out with anyone. So the daughter would always go out behind their backs with the complete thugs. And my heart was broken quite a few times before I realized that there might be a different way. Maybe I was doing the wrong thing. And this is over a number of years. It's taken me a long time, and maybe another video I'll go through some more of the books I've read that have helped me deal with certain pieces of philosophy, but this I would like to give my own experience on my enlightenment to MGTOW. I think one of the biggest things that has helped me go through life is my interest in philosophy and psychology, my inquisitiveness, and also my acceptance that I might be wrong. Whenever I come to a question, I always think, okay, what's both sides of the argument, you know? Like the whole... And generally, you find the answer in the middle. It's always a combination of the two, you know. I never think that one side is completely right and one side is completely wrong. And there are also deep shades of different problems that arise in one situation. You can say murder is wrong. However, the number of people who want Hitler dead would say, yeah, kill Hitler, of course, he's a bad guy, you know. You gotta kill Hitler. So you see, morality is extremely difficult. And I've studied Western classical philosophy very deeply, in depth. And studying that philosophy, studying Marx, studying Hick, studying Mill and Plato and Socrates, it gives you a good idea of morality from a logical sense. And then as it continues into Mill and John, you start having Christianity affect morality and the way people think. Within America, a lot of their laws are based on both Greek democracy and Christian morality. And going through it all, from where I am now, there's no point in trying to change the nature of people. You know, I still enjoy some of Bernard Chapin's videos. He's a very passionate guy. He's a very strong-willed person, and I respect him for that. I don't agree with all of his views, but I dislike people who are so absolutely positively negative on him, or just don't want to communicate, don't want to play things along. And then you take A Voice for Men, and yes, they bring up good points, but Bernard Chapin brings up good criticisms of them, and it's not really my place. I have never strongly felt about one thing or another. I've never got into a fandom or anything. I don't feel strong about those sort of things because I think you have to step back and take an inquisitive and scientific method or approach to morality and good and evil and politics. You know, the first thing that opened my mind that I wasn't a bad person, because feminism does push to boys that they are evil. It pushes that we should hate ourselves because we're horrible creatures and we could rape someone or we could kill someone and we start wars and just all these horrible things. And it's just, why would you do that? Why would you on purpose damage a child? It's completely deranged. And for that, I have never liked feminism whatsoever. It's completely infantile. And it's completely dishonourable. And if you call yourself a feminist, you should be sickened with yourself because you are hurting children with your horrible ideology pushed on them. And it was angryharry.com that I first realised I didn't have to hate myself, that I could love myself, that I was a human being. I wasn't trash. And from then on, any political feminist I have outright loathed. They are dogs, they are vermin, they're children, they're not logical beings. They act on instinct. I have no sympathy with them whatsoever. You see, in the past, to prove your citizenship, you would go into the armed services. But women aren't forced into the armed services, and so you see the problem with voting, right? But, right, let me put this simply to you, if you are not able to have a stake in a business, then why are you interested in the business? Why are you part of that business? The whole reason bankers allow traders to have a stake in the bank is so they don't go off and just waste the money. That's why people who lend out money from the bank have a stake in the bank as well. They have a stake in the assets. And therefore, they are loyal to the bank. You see, they want to do things that are good for the bank. However, feminists don't want to do things that are good for the country. They want to do things that are good for themselves. You see the selfishness in this line of thinking, this line of logic here? That is why I dislike feminism, because it's just ridiculous. It's just completely infantile to anyone who has studied philosophy and world history. However, I was extremely angry during this period of my time. I felt betrayed, you know? And it was my study of non-religious Buddhism and Taoism, because Buddhism is much better when it isn't a religion, and originally it wasn't a religion either. It was hooked back into Sikhism, because, you know, their religion loves order, and so they just... But anyway, non-religious Buddhism, which helped me try to understand where my anger was coming from, you see? Because I didn't realize it at the time. It's very subconscious. And also my study of Taoism, which was one of the, and is one of the most harmonious ideologies I have ever come across. It's one of the most accepting, and you see it sometimes in all other aspects of life. It's studied, but no one takes it seriously because they want to view things as man-made systems. But the fact is, a man-made system comes from something that's natural. A human being is an animal. An animal that's made a system is a natural system. The whole idea something is man-made is erroneous, but you see, and because it's man-made, because it comes from nature, it has a birth, it has a life, and then it dies. That's why empires live and die, because they are natural. And that's why robots die, because they're natural. They're of course they're not living, but they're man-made from an animal that is, it's animal-made. Yeah, man is an animal, it's animal-made. And when something dies, you have to let go. This comes from Alan Watts, who I know many people don't like, but what he says about Buddhism is very interesting. And he has some very interesting essays and speeches you can find quite easily. And it's the whole idea that when you're breathing, you have to let go. You can't keep your breath in. Your breath is good. It's good for you, like money. Someone who keeps all their riches in their bank. Someone who keeps all their air in their lungs. They have to let it go or they die, you know? A rich person has to spend money because what's the point in having money in the bank? You know, you got to spend some of it. You got to let the oxygen out of your lungs to survive, you know, so you can take the next breath. And that's how... And when you start accepting that things die, when you start accepting that it's part of the process, that destruction is part of creation, that's when you can start, that's when I started being happy, being accepting of myself and of my life, and that I can live happily. I don't have to follow marriage. I don't have to marry, because marriage is just an institution that will eventually die, and is dying at the moment. And it's the same with everything, and we'll find a new way. We'll find another way to do it, you know? And lots of people want to hold their breaths on it. Lots of people want to say, no, marriage will go on, but it won't. We'll have cohabitation, or something like that. Something close to it. Or we'll have vats where we grow humans, and everyone will be like, oh, but, you know, what's a superhuman? Well, you know, you're going to need a superhuman that has to live in space. And eventually space travel is going to become a big part of humanity. And we can't keep ignoring it. And people are worried about people mining the moon, but it's a fantastic branch for us getting into space. So, yeah, I mean, I studied Wolf Totem, that I put a video on that, and it's another book that's a fantastic vision into this life and death parallel. And I hope, and I'll put up some more of my learning, because it's one of the things I like to do. I love learning. I love studying, I love philosophy, I love economics, I love world history, and I'll put up some videos of that. I'm a man going my own way, and this is what I enjoy. This is my way, and I want to be part of this community, and I think it's a good thing. And to anyone who doesn't like what I'm saying, why are you watching this video? Why are you continuing to get angry at something you can't change? You won't be able to change me. You can't. It's like a leaf in the wind, you know? You're the leaf trying the tree, and the tree goes with the wind, you know? A tree that doesn't go with the wind is stiff and it breaks. Like a system, you know, if a system isn't fluid, it breaks. I am a fluid person, and I will change with the system, and you're not changing. You're too stubborn. You will break. You will die. And that'll happen to everyone. We all die. So, That's all I have to say on that. Goodbye.